Pretend with me, you're a high school basketball recruit, one of the best in the whole country. Your dad's the coach and you've been training your whole life to play in the pros. Some real high school musical shit, alright? But then one day, this witch walks out of a cave and puts a curse on the world. The curse says that anybody that touches a basketball will instantly perish. How would you respond? What would your reaction be? 99% of people would have an extremely emotional, visceral reaction, causing them to spiral into a pit of depression. Would you have that same reaction? It's a very understandable reaction, but why do people have such reaction? Well, it's because your sense of self has been threatened on an extreme level. I have the same sort of reaction when Instagram's algorithm changes and my picture gets a fourth of the likes that it used to get. It's because part of my identity is this person that gets 20,000 likes per picture, and now when it only gets 4,000 likes, what am I, only fourth as valuable as I used to be? It's stupid, it's so ridiculous, but we all have this sense of self we built up. We create this sort of false sense of self around our true self, like the layers of an onion, each layer getting more and more apparent and obvious in our reality. The outside layers may be like the sports team that you like. I'm a Eagles fan. The next layer is the university you go to. Oh, I go to UCLA. I identify as a UCLA student. The next layer could be your religion that you identify with. The next layer could be your gender. Next one could be your height. You know, that's extremely obvious, something that's very apparent in your reality. Each layer getting more and more tangible in reality. So I think it's really important to consider what would happen if these layers were stripped away. If the outside layer, you know, your favorite sports team loses the big game, it's not such a big deal. It doesn't really threaten who you are very much. But you see, if these deeper layers are stripped away, say you lose your scholarship to the big prestigious university, that's going to hurt you more deeply. Or if you have a life-changing injury that destroys your career or ruins your physique, that's a pretty big hit to those layers. How are you going to respond? Now, I thought about putting this video on one of my second channels because a lot of my subscribers aren't really interested in this deeper stuff. They just want to see like vanity looks. And don't worry, the next video will be a jawline video. Seriously, it will be. But when the shit hits the fan, most people are going to freak out and panic and, you know, go into a crippling depression. But I'm going to share with you a story from the book New Earth by Eckhart Tolle that I think will give you kind of the tools that you will need if shit does hit the fan, something does happen. So the story goes something like this, and maybe I should say it in Eckhart Tolle's nice soft voice. So there was a Zen master. That's not very good, fuck it. So there's this Zen master named Hakim, highly revered, highly respected in his village. One day, one of the young women in the village gets pregnant, and she blames him and says that it was him that got her pregnant, right? He responds, "Is that so?" His whole reputation is destroyed. They bring the kid to him to raise. He raises the kid, then 10-15 years later, the woman finally admits that it was the boy that works at the butcher shop. The town comes back to his doorstep, this time with no pitchforks and no burning torches, and they apologize for blaming him for the pregnancy. His response, "Is that so?" He gives the child back after 10 plus years of raising it lovingly and then resumes his practice teaching Zen ways. So his response to everything that happens in life, whether good or bad, was, "Is that so?" He has become so at one with what happens to the point where what happens holds no power over him. And he realizes that only if you resist what happens does the world determine your happiness. I know it seems crazy, and of course if somebody shows up to your door blaming you for some bullshit you didn't do, you're not gonna just be like, okay, yeah, I'll handle that, I'll take the blame for that. This is just a point to show that you can meet anything with a neutral reaction, just totally accepting what is and determining your next reactions accordingly. You can decide your relationship with the present moment, whatever is happening in the moments before you right now as you look around. So why would you not choose a friendly relationship with the present moment? Ego can be defined as a dysfunctional relationship with the present moment. There's another highly famous philosopher named Victor Frankl. He was a psychiatrist working his whole life in, I believe, Austria to become this highly revered psychiatrist and philosopher. Until in the 1940s, World War II happened, and just so happens he was Jewish. So he was brought to this horrible concentration camp and stripped of everything. His clothes, his name, and even worse, they took all of his writings in this book he had been compiling for 20 plus years, and they threw it in a fire. In one moment, his whole identity, his whole sense of self was dissolved. But only then did he realize that all of these layers of self were an illusion. The one true self cannot be destroyed or changed. And to find that true sense of self, every other false sense of self has to dissolve. So what do you do moving forward? Do you have to give away all your possessions, throw away your clothes, and go move to some mountain and be a monk? No, I don't recommend that, but you should just realize that everything that you have created this identity with are all just false layers around your true self. How in God's name could you expect to define yourself with a bunch of letters pressed together? You know, that's what your name is. It's not real. They're just letters. It's a sound that you make with your mouth, but yet you identify with it so deeply. Maybe it's your fashion or your schooling, your intelligence that you identify with. All of that is just a layer around the center, the true core of what you really are. So obviously you're not going to reach some higher level of enlightenment after just watching this one 8-minute video or whatever, but when something goes down, when your identity is threatened or some shit goes wrong in your life, try to choose a positive relationship, a positive reaction to what is happening, so that you can train yourself to take back control and be able to decide your own happiness and not let the world decide your happiness. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, subscribe, turn on notifications on, and until next time, peace.